I have decreased my visceral fat, the scary, unhealthy fat, by 50%. Body composition is the non-scale victory. Hi, welcome to Food Noise Be Gone. I am Elisa. I have lost almost 100 pounds, exactly 95 as of this week. We're going to discuss my most recent quarterly DEXA report. That is a report on body composition. Please remember to subscribe, like, comment. I drop these episodes every week on Saturday, 9 a.m. on YouTube, Sundays, 9 a.m. on Spotify and Apple. This week, we're talking about body composition, specifically my new DEXA report. I go to Body Spec. This is not a sponsored post. I pay for my DEXA scans. They run an average of $50 per. I buy them in a bundle. I get a little bit of a discount by doing it that way. I'm going to be going half yearly. So again, in June for my RMR testing. I'll link a picture or maybe include a picture here of the last RMR test. That's to test the exact rate of my metabolism. But what the actual DEXA does is it's a slow, low radiation X-ray that measures your body fat, lean tissue, and bone. Your lean tissue is basically everything that's not fat and everything that's not bone. So it includes muscle, it includes organs, it includes liquid. What you're most interested here is that your bones are healthy and that your body fat is decreasing or low. The most important part of your body fat that you should be most concerned about is the fat in your torso, specifically the fat inside and around your organs. One of the biggest regrets I have on this weight loss journey is I did not get one of these scans when I started weight loss. I was 287 pounds, 2025 January. You'll see the picture. I've plugged everything, including the pictures, including my June, September, December, and now March DEXA scan. I've plugged that all into ChatGPT, and it has estimated that my January body fat was probably around 55%. That is stunning. It is scary. I had almost 5.5 pounds, I believe, of visceral body fat. That's the kind inside that I'm saying, that the bad kind inside next to your organs. I probably had 6, 7 pounds of visceral fat in January when I started at 287 pounds, 55% body fat. I was unhealthy. We can be as body positive as we want. We can not care about the scale. There is no way that much visceral fat, that much altogether, over 50% body of my body was fat. That was not healthy, increased my risk. I realized that risk. Cancer, diagnosed with cancer twice. I have no known cancer in my body right now. I've had it removed. I've had radiation treatment for my thyroid, and I had a lung cancer, stage 1, removed about 2 years ago now. We're in surveillance. So yeah, there is no version of that body composition, 50, 55% fat, that was healthy. 6, 7 pounds of visceral fat inside next to my organs. That is unhealthy. You want to work on that. People talk about, oh, we don't like the skinny. Everybody's trying to be skinny. People are cheating. The GLP-1s might hurt you. No, 7 pounds of visceral fat and 55% body fat, those were killing me. So we're super excited about this most recent DEXA, the big picture. We are down under 40% body fat now. The most recent calculation was about 192 on Sunday when I took my DEXA, and it was 37.2% body fat. Started at around 55, estimated in January. I am now under 40% body fat. My goal is to be under 30% body fat by the time we get to goal. We are on pace for that. When I started this journey at 287 pounds, I was morbidly obese, over 55% body fat, probably over 7 pounds of visceral fat, morbidly class 3 obesity. There is no higher class of obesity than morbid obesity. Morbid obesity means all of the possible things that could make you unhealthy. Comorbidities. Being obese is a massive comorbidity. You are morbidly obese. Once I get to like 240 pounds, there's no higher class of obesity. You have increased risk of everything at that point. And it's not just a number on a scale. It's not just a BMI number. I was over 50% body fat. That was unhealthy. So why does DEXA matter? I would say your body composition matters. There are different ways to measure body composition. DEXA is the most reliable, the low radiation body scan that can tell your fat from your lean mass from your bone. The two most important things in there are your bone health and your body fat. Your body fat should be 30% or lower. Fit is 25%, and athletic is down near 20% for women. Men run a lower percent body fat at each of those stages. But body fat is really how you can measure and classify metabolic and the health of your body, the proportion of fat to the rest of your body. And DEXA is the most accurate way of telling that. You can get a BIA scale. BIA stands for body impedance. What it does through however that works is it estimates your body fat, estimates your lean mass. It might say it knows what your muscle mass is, but even a DEXA doesn't actually calculate your muscle. It calculates lean mass. When you get smaller, when I started to where I am now, my lean mass did go down. The size of my organs went down. I had to carry more muscle just to carry 287 pounds around with me. So yeah, everything was a little bigger. The most exciting thing about this is my lean mass has stabilized. That means in this last quarter, there is only a rounding error of lean mass change. That means all of the fat I lost, or all of the weight I lost, was fat. It's a 0.2 pounds rounding error, the difference between December scan and this last weekend scan. My body fat was 41.7% body fat in December. My fat tissue was 86.8 pounds of fat tissue in December, and my lean tissue was 115.4 pounds with 6.1 pounds of bone. My current lean tissue that was 115.4 in December is currently 115.2. That's 0.2. That is considered a rounding error. I maintained my lean mass. I've been going to the gym 3 days a week. I've been walking a ton. I eat a significant amount of protein, an extremely balanced nutritional composition of what I eat. I move now probably averaging 12,000 steps a day. My bones are still there. I have really strong bone mass. That was my starting point. It started at 5.9 in June. It's currently 6. There's only been rounding error changes. I went from 5.9 to 6.2 to 6.1 to 6. It's basically been completely stable. That's ideal. It means I have maintained my bone health from when I started. I started off in June with 113 pounds of fat. Again, we can estimate there was probably, 40 more pounds of fat that I lost. 30 to 40 more pounds of fat that I lost. I was at 242 pounds in June. I started at 287. That's over a 40-pound difference. Probably 40 pounds of that was fat. And again, I started in June. I had over 5 pounds. I think it was 5.3. I'll put the exact amount up here on the screen. I had a significant amount, a concerning amount, after having lost over 40 pounds in June, still a concerning amount of visceral fat. The ideal amount of visceral fat is 0, ideally less than 1 pound. I was at over 5 after having lost 40 pounds, probably already had lost 1 to 2 pounds of visceral fat. That means I had an obscenely high amount of visceral fat, at least likely 7 times what someone should have around my organs. I was at extremely high risk for poor health outcomes. Another reason why you want to reduce your body fat, but more importantly, preserve muscle mass, which is a significant amount of what your lean tissue is muscle mass. Preserving and prioritizing muscle through exercise, resistance training, and protein in your diet increases and stabilizes your metabolism. When I mentioned RMR test, the estimate on here would show I had lost several hundred metabolic calories to burn, but my actual metabolism, because I've been prioritizing movement, resistance, and protein, I have maintained my metabolism likely within 100 calories from when I started. That was what my test said in December. I'll go again in June. They're a little pricey to get your metabolism tested at your resting metabolic rate. Highly recommend. I have not suffered from any significant metabolic adaptation, likely thanks to the GLP-1, thanks to the movement, thanks to my nutritional breakdown, thanks to the resistance training. Maintaining and confirming that I have maintained my lean tissue. Now that I've stabilized, I'm in that final third, that last 40 pounds of weight loss. It'll be so important that I've maintained. I think I am at 115 pounds because I stayed stable in the last quarter. It's estimated that that will be my final lean body mass. So I can estimate that I'll probably hit 30% and be between 165, 175 pounds at the 30%, which is kind of that healthy threshold to be under. I'd like to get down closer to 150, which likely means I need to decrease my body fat percentage down possibly to closer to 25%. I was kind of targeting 27%, but if I want to get to like that, my ideal size, I think based on all this data, if I want to be very fit, which is what 25% would put me at, not just generally healthy, but it'll set me up for better aging longevity. If I get down to closer to 25%, that would probably put me at a size 6, size 6, 8, maybe sometimes a size 4. I don't care as much about the size, only that it's indicative of the overall health profile. And, I may have to consider when I get to 30%, how do I feel? Can I live here? How's my energy? Am I comfortable with the size I am? Can my body tolerate the cut any longer? Right? Your body can only tolerate a cut for so long. But one of the places where I feel super lucky is that I have been in a cut this long. I don't feel hungry all the time. I'm on a GLP. I'm eating a significant amount of protein and carbohydrates. I am not eating keto. I am eating a very balanced nutritional breakdown with the help of a nutritionist, dietitian, obesity doctor. These charts, this test confirms that what we're doing is right, that I've minimally lost lean tissue in the first, say, 9 to 10 months of this weight loss journey, of being on GLP-1, of losing almost now 100 pounds, 95 pounds as of today. I preserved my metabolism. If I can maintain that and get to the goal of having that most healthy body composition, it will set me up for the greatest chance of longevity and the best health outcomes. And I will literally be able to wear anything I want because that's the side benefit. It's like the main benefit is you get to be healthy and you get to increase your chances for positive health outcomes. The side benefit is you get to be cute and you get to fit in places. You get all the non-scale victories that come with that. I like that trade. I'll go ahead and show the data points for muscle, including my estimated starting point, really for lean mass, because muscle is just an estimate, but I'll show my fat percentage, my lean mass percentage, and I'll show how that has changed, and I'll include the starting point. That graph is super interesting. Another piece that's really interesting is where I lost the most weight. I guess looking at where I started, it shouldn't be that surprised. It was the middle torso. That is where I was a potato. I looked like a potato. All the weight was in there. The visceral fat, the subcutaneous fat, all the fat has been in my torso. And that's where I've lost the most significant amount. So we don't get to choose where we lose fat, but I think doing all the things has led me to the outcome of losing it in the place that will benefit me the most from a health perspective. And quite frankly, will just benefit me most from just a living in my body perspective. How close fit, how I look, my body composition, my metabolic health. It is a win-win-win. So they refer to the torso as your trunk. So that is where I've lost the most. I'll cut out some pictures of what that looks like. And I'll show some of the other parts of the body. I'm still a little lopsided in my legs after injuring my knee twice last summer. My legs are still a little lopsided over the summer when I injured them twice. I got a DEXA right before the injury, got one after the second injury. I lost a pound lean mass difference at the end of the summer. I started to at this point, made about half of that back. I think I'm still lopsided by about half a pound. It might be a little different. I'll go ahead and show what that looks like here, but everything else is pretty well balanced. I'll just reiterate that visceral fat reduction is the most important part of this story. Starting at upwards, the first scan showed 5.39 pounds of visceral fat. Again, I was probably closer to 6 or 7 when I started. I'm currently at 3 pounds. I am confident I will get down to the 1 pound of visceral fat or less, especially if I continue and get to something closer to 25% body fat. I am going to continue doing these quarterly until I get to my goal. In the fall, I'm going to take a pause after my December. I guess it'll be late fall, not quite winter. I'll get my December DEXA scan. That'll be like 3 scans from now, June, September, and December. Wherever I am, if I'm not yet at goal weight, I'm going to pause. I'm going to look at my composition. I'm going to pause through the holidays, just try to maintain and decide on my birthday next year. It'll be about month and a half. Pause. Do I keep going? Am I at the right body composition? Do I feel like I'm at a good weight? Do I want to start maintenance or do I want to continue a cut? So I kind of mapped out these quarterly DEXAs. And once I do get to maintenance, I'll probably shift to half yearly DEXAs, maybe yearly RMR tests. And then once I feel comfortable that I'm maintaining and I'm where I'm at, maybe from an overall body composition, I'm going to just do yearly DEXAs. I think it's really important where I've been in my life, kind of how we got to where we were at 287, maybe over 290 at some point. to just keep an eye on things. And I think keeping an eye on things, especially as we get older and making sure we maintain that lean mass, those muscles underneath, really important. Women especially tend to lose lean mass, and I want to prioritize that. I think context is all people talk about losing water early on. A lot of that early loss may be water, glycogen, inflammation. The fat that you carry causes inflammation. Fat and water are actually linked. The later stages, especially if we stay focused on preserving lean mass and body composition, the later changes are going to be pure fat. And that's what really bears out in the quarter over quarter results. I feel like I'm discussing financial results. They're my body composition. It's crazy. I love this data. It's just so fun. So, an interesting thing that I am very aware of, I follow online, it's on my FYP on like Instagram, TikTok, whatever, is loose skin versus subcutaneous fat. A lot of what I see when people are saying, "Oh, they have loose skin," a lot of what I see on other people is not loose skin. It's remaining subcutaneous fat after they've already lost a ton of significant fat. And you know what? If someone wants to get liposuction, wants to get a tummy tuck and surgically have some of the subcutaneous fat in addition to the skin removed, more power to them. For me, I am going to attempt to lose as much subcutaneous fat as possible, in addition to like just as much fat as possible. I have what I have seen other people call loose skin. I know at 37% body fat, it's still subcutaneous fat. I can feel the fat under the skin. Skin is tissue thin. It's thin. When there's a significant bit of flesh, that's just subcutaneous fat. And that's fine. I'm going to try to reduce that as much as possible, see where we are. My arms are already much smaller than I thought they would be. My body, having lost 1 to 2 pounds a week pretty steadily, it's been slow, steady, not too slow, not too fast. I'm 53 years old. I'm surprised I don't have a lot more. Everything seems to just be kind of coming down. I anticipate I will have some loose skin. I really hope if I let it settle, once I hit my goal, let it settle over 12 to 18 months, that I'll just be happy with where I am. I'm not ruling out surgery, but if it means it may be part of that decision when I talk about do I need to continue working on my body composition even if I feel like I'm at the goal size weight that I want to be. And it may be about if I want to reduce my body fat to kind of make the appearance look how we want. I would rather work on my body composition than worry about cutting, doing anything surgical. But not ruling it out, just that would be my preference. I said it was funny before, talking about these reports, talking about these graphs, talking about the trend analysis. It feels like I'm talking about financial analysis. It almost feels like I'm a science experiment. I kind of am. I'm taking a GLP-1. I am meeting with people, doctors, dietitians, nutritionists. I have completely changed my activity lifestyle. I'm my own science experiment. And anecdotally, it appears to be working. It's so fun, I think, to make it data driven. For me, it's motivating because I can see proof with these DEXA scans and like the RMR testing. I can see proof that what I am doing is literally working. So, science experiment, financial analysis, or body composition analysis, love it, recommend. I'll go ahead and share here what, based on all the data that I fed into ChatGPT, what we think the forecast is going to be through to goal. We're currently at relatively 193 pounds. When we got the scan, it was 192 and change, 37% body fat. By June, we anticipate to be in the 182 to 185 range. We'll see. I'm like 190. Exactly. 190.0 is where I am today. It's Wednesday. Maybe I get to that before June. We'll see. It's fine. It's definitely slower here, but we are getting smaller, and that is the exciting thing. By September, the forecast is I am somewhere between 172 to 175 pounds at around 30% body fat. That's when I need to check in before the December DEXA scan and be like, how do we feel? How do we look? I probably need to stop and say, are we there? I haven't been in the 170 range since I graduated from high school. September. That's crazy. So I got a scan in September. We'll see where we are. In December, ChatGPT's forecast is that I'll be between 165, 168 pounds at 28 to 29% body fat. That could be, I've kind of told, I negotiate with ChatGPT. If I am in a size 6, higher than what I think my goal weight will be, I feel like I might be at goal. If I am still in like an 8, 10, I'm wearing 10s now, I'm 10, 12. If I haven't really gotten there, maybe we keep going. Maybe we keep refining our body composition. December scan. December is that kind of pause point, depending on where we are on the scale of body composition. It anticipates if I continue going in early 27, we're at 26, 27% body fat. That really kind of is goal. I could be 160, 162 pounds. If you notice, my goal weight has always been stated to be around 150 pounds. I want to be at 154 or lower. That is considered normal BMI. I will have to make peace if the scale is higher, but I'm at a great body composition. I like how I look. I like the size I am. I mean, a size 6 is fine. I do not need to be smaller than J-Lo. That's my line. It's the J-Lo line. The goal, if I want to continue to push to 150, thinks I will be between 23 and 25% body fat at that point. If I maintain that 115 or even build lean mass from where I currently am. I mean, I guess that would be around a year and a half from now, summer of 27. We'll check in after our next either quarterly DEXA scan. We'll do a little check in here, see where we are from this forecast, do a revised forecast. These are just so fun. Recommend look in your area. I use Body Spec, again, not sponsored. Look for, they usually run between $50 and $100. If you can get a package, you can usually get a discount around the holidays. They often will offer a holiday discount, whether it's Memorial Day, Christmas, whatever. If you can't get DEXAs, if it just feels like those are out of range, there are definitely BIA scales that are better. There are some nutrition in doctor's offices. Some gyms will have really high-end BIA scales. Again, they're less perfect than a DEXA, but they are great for trends. I recommend following up on your trend. I have cheap BIA scales at the house. They're wildly not accurate to DEXA, but they're great for showing trends. I still look at them, I analyze them. Their metabolic age is crazy, it makes no sense. Maybe one day I'll get one of those body pods. They're supposed to be like 98% accurate to DEXA. But for now, I just get the DEXA scan. You got to see what's actually there. There's no real questioning it. It's just something that I wish I'd always known. I feel like maybe it would have changed my life if I'd known about DEXA scans before. So, recapping where we started morbidly obese. We're currently in the 30% body fat, reducing our visceral fat. I am 5 pounds from being no longer in any class of obesity, but entering overweight. And in fact, overweight may be where I hit my ideal body composition if I can't get to 154 pounds at the goal. So, yeah, we're on a journey. We started off morbidly obese. We're currently at the tipping point between obesity and being overweight, and we'll see where this journey takes us. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for bearing with me through all this fun data analysis from morbid obesity to normal. Whatever normal is, normal BMI, normal size, normal weight, whatever class of BMI we are in, wherever our goal takes us. I'm going to ride the DEXA scan and the data to the end. It fits my personality. I hope this was fun for everyone. Get your DEXA, DEXA or bust. Thank you so much. Join me next week. We'll be talking about a new topic. We'll find something interesting to talk about. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to post them. I will post a link to all the information where I recommend you can go to get your DEXA scan. Any questions you might have, feel free to leave them in the comments. Thanks so much for joining me. Peace.